Well, he avoided capture for 2 decades, taking off while he was on trial for rape.
His name is Ronald Fisher, and he is one of Rhode Island's most wanted fugitives. He disappeared 20 years ago this week. The I-Team's Brian Crandall takes a fresh look at his disappearance. Brian?
Patrice, Jean, Ronald Fisher was a doctor, but he was known to use fake names. He had a boat and a history of attacking women. Where he went 20 years ago is still a mystery. Subject, goodbye. Saturday evening, April 23, 2005. Ronald Fisher emails his lawyer as his rape trial in Newport is headed to closing arguments. The small chance of losing could carry extremely and unacceptably harsh penalties. I have therefore decided not to take the risk and to leave the U.S. and enjoy life in another country, where I have long been carefully planning a good, safe, secure, and comfortable life. He ended the message by thanking his lawyers and advising one of them, Bob Mann, to eat less chocolate and watch his diet. And with that, Ronald Fisher disappeared.
What did you think finding out that he was gone?
I felt sick at the pit of my stomach.
Cheryl Gingrich is the woman Fisher raped on his boat, the Lion King, at a Portsmouth marina in 2003. She wrote in her police statement at the time, "All I could think was, I am alone in the bottom of this boat and no one will hear me if I scream."
The incident definitely changed the whole trajectory of my life.
Gingrich says she had to be treated for PTSD.
I basically became a hermit.
She met Fisher through an online personal ad. His medical license was revoked, but Fisher's profile said he was a doctor. It also knocked 7 years off his age.
An egotist, a narcissist, all about money and living the rich lifestyle and a show-off.
He was a chameleon.
Now retired Portsmouth Police Detective A.J. Bucci investigated the case.
So he gave the appearance that he was a good catch, but in fact, he was not.
Bucci and Gingrich testified at the trial.
I just prayed that the jury would see that, he was what he was.
But then Fisher, who was free as the case played out, vanished. I talked to Gingrich's son back then.
There was no question that they let him slip through the cracks.
And now?
I didn't think he was going to be on the lam for this long, especially given the fact that he is such a repeat offender.
A decade earlier, a woman accused Fisher of smashing her head on a door, dragging her, and cutting off her airway before raping her on his boat, docked in the Boston area. They had also met through a personal ad. Fisher pleaded guilty to assault, and both Massachusetts and Rhode Island revoked his medical license. He had been the head of anesthesiology at Memorial Hospital in Pawtucket and an assistant professor at Brown. After he vanished during the 2005 rape trial, closing arguments went on. His lawyer, Bob Mann.
He's not here, but that's also not the issue.
Prosecutor Carl Ritchie then.
Not only did he tell a lot of lies, he lived a life using a lot of fake names.
And now.
We had his picture from his online account and actually used it in the closing because he wasn't there, and I couldn't make specific reference to him not being there.
The jury convicted Fisher without him in the courtroom.
I thought the trial was going to bring closure, and in some ways it did. Him being found guilty was very important.
But the experience left tough emotions.
It made me lose faith somewhat in the judicial system. Why weren't they tracking him better?
So where could Fisher have gone?
What was very alarming to us at the time was we were searching his basement, and high up into the ceiling, there was a drop ceiling. There were several books up there, and books concerning how to conceal your identity. There was several books of establishing offshore accounts.
Ritchie says Fisher had a daughter in college in upstate New York.
We thought maybe after he left, he might stop in there, right next to the Canadian border.
Ritchie later heard mention of Brazil. Gingrich says investigators once talked about Costa Rica. None of those panned out.
It surprises me with the technology that's out there, his ties back to Rhode Island with family.
This guy has been out there free to do whatever he pleases for the past 20 years. And what this man pleases to do is attack women.
Do you still have hope that he'll be found or turn up someday?
Oh, I think he's hiding in plain sight. I don't think he's far, far away at all.
And Gingrich is convinced she saw Fisher years ago while she was boarding a plane at the airport. Fisher's family members did not return my calls. Rhode Island State Police will only say they typically do not discuss open investigations, but that a detective is assigned to monitor and follow up on information in all open cases. I'm Brian Crandall, NBC 10 News.